Hello students, I hope you all are doing well. I want to welcome you in the video lecture series of utilization of electrical energy and traction. So let's begin with the first video of the series on the topic Introduction to Electric Heating. Electric heating is preferred over other types of electric methods, be it coal, wood, oil or gas. Practically, all heating requirements can be fulfilled by some method of electric heating. We are very much familiar with the fact that whenever current I is made to flow through any circuit having a resistance of R ohms, power dissipated in that circuit is I square watts. If the current flows for t seconds, then energy consumed is equal to I square R into t joules per watt into seconds. This energy is being converted to heat. Now, electric heating is based on the principle that when electric current passes through a medium, be it a solid, liquid, or a gas, then a heat is produced. Basically, there are three modes of transmission of heat. Firstly, we will talk about the conduction process. Here we can see the image of a pan kept on a flame. After some time, we will observe that the handle of the pan will be hot as the heat will travel via conduction to the end of the handle, or we can say that heating in solids takes place through conduction. Similarly, liquids are heated by convection method. Whereas if we talk about radiation, we can say that distant objects are heated from a source of heat by radiation. The very common example of radiation is that the heat of the sun reaches to us by this radiation only. Now, electric heating is extensively used for domestic applications as well as for industrial applications. The examples of domestic appliances making use of heating effect of current are shown in this presentation, are shown in this slide. So we can say that electric heating is being used for room heater for heating the building, or be it an immersion heater for water heating, or be it the hot plate for cooking, geysers, electric kettles, hot air dryers, electric iron, coffee percolators, popcorn plant, electric ovens for baking products, or electric toasters also. Similarly, there can be various industrial applications of electric heating as well, whether be it the melting of metals or heat treatment of metals such as annealing, tempering, soldering, brazing, case hardening, whether we can say it is electric welding, molding of glass for making glass appliances, baking of insulators, molding of plastic components, enameling of copper conductors, heat treatments of pointed surfaces, making of plywood, enameling of copper conductor, vitreous enameling of wire wound resistors, danger plates and other metallic components. So if we go into the details of generation, transmission and distribution of electric power and finally its application for heating purpose, it is revealed that electric power is generated by burning of coal, that is by generating heat, and ultimately heat can be produced by electric power. So here we can see a simple scheme of heat energy being converted into electric energy and vice versa. The diagram shows the production of steam in a boiler with burning of coal in a thermal power plant. You all can see there is one boiler which is connected to the chimney, and the steam from the boiler is fed to the steam turbine, which in turn is connected to the alternator. Here alternator is connected to the transmission line via the bus bars, and finally at the load side the heating appliance is being connected. So the steam turbine will convert the heat energy into mechanical energy necessary for driving the alternator. Now this alternator will convert the mechanical energy into electrical energy, which is transmitted to far off places by stepping up the voltage and taken through the transmission line to be distributed through step down transformers. This electrical energy is again converted into heat energy by different heating appliances. Now, this energy cycle involves a lot of losses, right from the heat losses in the boiler or turbine unit, be it the efficiency of the turbine, or the losses of the generator, or the losses in transmission and distribution, or be it the transformer losses. Now, when we analyze the situation further, it is found that if instead of distributing electricity, coal is distributed to produce heat at different places, the losses still do take place. At each place of utilization of coal instead of electricity, it involves heat losses identical to those in boiler or furnace. So basically, what are the benefits of converting heat energy into electrical energy as shown in the previous figure? As we can see that there is no heat loss involved in boilers or furnace. There is no requirement of the transportation of coal. It do not require any storage cost or storage capacity for coal storing purpose. It do not involve any dust, smoke or pollution, and even it is very flexible when it comes to control and utilization. So upon analysis, we can ponder about certain questions, that can we warm up an operation theatre straight away with coal? Secondly, can the beauty of place can be maintained by directly using the coal for heating purpose? Or can bad conductors of heat be uniformly heated with heat from coal? The above few considerations give an idea about the importance of ignoring the loss involved in the cycle. So let us discuss about what are the advantages of electric heating over other methods of heating. So the first thing which we all know is the neat and clean atmosphere. As there is no coal dust or smoke, an operator's hand do not go black while operating an electric heating appliance. Moreover, there is no pollution because there is an absence of flue gas which do not result in pollution of atmosphere, and there is no heat losses involved as through smoke or flue gases. One of the most important point is the temperature which is in the controlled limit. In electric heating, we get the controlled temperature, which is the most peculiar feature of this type of heating. The temperature can be controlled within plus to minus 5 degrees Celsius, which is not possible in non-electric heating process. Also, the ease of control. The heating can be started simultaneously or stopped at the required time, keeping a time gap between switching off and cooling of the heating circuit. Automatic switching controls are possible. Now, as we talk about the localized application, a workpiece can be heated up to a particular depth for heat treatment, whereas the piece as a whole receives heat in non-electrical heating process. Low ambient temperature, as the temperature around the electric furnace is much lower as compared to that around the non-electrical furnace, which is troublesome for the workers. Now we get the uniform heating. The heating can be generated from within the workpiece, resulting in uniform heating through induction heating. Also, the heating of bad conductor of electricity can be very well heated by this method. Be it the plastic, wood, bakery items, they can be uniformly and suitably heated with dielectric heating process. We get the highest efficiency of utilization in this process. Heat produced electrically does not go waste through chimney and other byproducts. Most of the heat produced is utilized by the material being heated electrically. This results in the highest efficiency as compared to other heating processes. Also, the furnaces used in case of electric heating are relatively cheap. The electric furnaces do not require big space for installation, no storage of coal, and firewood is necessary. So no chimneys to be constructed, no extra heat insulation is necessary. This brings the cost involved to a lower value as compared to non-electrical furnaces. Also, the mobility of job is seen in this type of heating, as pieces undergoing heat treatment can be mounted on a conveyor passing through the heating cabinets, making use of electric heaters. So now how do we classify different type of heating methods? We have classified the heating methods depending on the temperature range. So the low temperature type of heating method, it is in the range of approximately 400 degrees Celsius, whereas the medium temperature electric heating lies in the range of 400 to 1150 degrees Celsius. And if you talk about the high temperature type of heating method, it is usually above 1150 degrees Celsius. Now if I talk about the different type of heating methods, basically we know that heat will be produced due to circulation of current through a resistance. The current may be circulating directly due to application of potential difference, or it may be due to induced eddy current. Similarly, in magnetic material, hysteresis loss can cause heating. Intermolecular fraction produced by repeated changes in alignment can also be source of heat. This will be evident from dielectric heating. Production of an arc between an electrode and material to be heated can also be a method of heating, or striking an arc between the two electrodes in the vicinity of some object can heat it. Lastly, bombardment by some high energy particles such as alpha, beta or gamma rays, or even X-rays can heat the article, or we can accelerate ions which can produce heating on the surface. So basically in industries, different type of heating methods which are adopted are as listed below. The first type of heating is the power frequency heating, which utilizes resistance oven and arc furnace. And secondly, we use high frequency heating in which we use induction heating or dielectric heating methods. So this is the complete classification of different type of electric heating. Here we can see that electric heating is broadly divided into power frequency heating and high frequency heating. The power frequency heating is again classified into resistance heating and arc heating, and they both in turn are again classified into direct and indirect type of heating. Now if I talk about the high frequency heating is again bifurcated into induction heating and dielectric heating. And again the induction heating can be direct core type or even coreless type. So we are going to study each and every type of heating in detail in the upcoming lectures. So before winding up this lecture, let us discuss in a nutshell that what we have covered in this lecture. We have discussed the introduction of electric heating. Then we have seen some of the domestic application where electric heating is being used. Also we have seen some of the industrial applications of electric heating. We have seen the schematic diagram in which the heat energy is converted to electrical energy and vice versa. Then we have seen the advantages of electric heating and also what are the classification or different types of electric heating. So I hope this video was helpful to you. See you in the next one. Till then, take care.